Hi everybody, it's John with Backyard Eden. I decided to bring you a video today on how to refresh potting soil. Yes, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so we are back here and we are in the backyard garden and I'm getting ready to pot up some pepper plants. So I have a number of containers. I'll try to give you a shot of them. I have a number of containers right here. I don't know, there's probably some 30-something containers around the backyard. And I am trying to get my peppers planted for this season. So I want to reuse the soil. A lot of people don't, but I reuse my soil. So what I do is pretty simple. I dump it out, check for any sort of issues with the potting soil, and then refresh it. So a couple of things you want to keep in mind when refreshing potting soil. If you grew something in it the previous year and you had some sort of disease issue, you want to make sure to get rid of that soil. So I would recommend, if you had, for example, if you grew potatoes in a pot and you wanted to reuse the potting soil, but during the potato season you realized that your potatoes had blight or some sort of disease, you want to make sure to discard that soil for the next year, because you don't want to carry that disease to the next plant. And so if you're going to use that soil for anything in the nightshade family, something like of course potatoes, obviously peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, those type of things, you could very easily transmit that disease through that potting soil. So you want to make sure to dispose of it. Other than that, potting soil can be reused if you follow a couple of simple steps, a couple of simple rules. You want to make sure that the potting soil has enough nutrients for whatever plant that you're growing in it, but in addition to that, you want to make sure that the potting soil has the right components so that it holds moisture, so that it's not too heavy, and that it's going to be an overall good soil for whatever plant that you're growing in it. So the potting soil that I'm reusing today is primarily Kellogg's potting mix. It's an organic potting mix. It has basically everything you would want in a potting soil already in there. And what I did last year is I added just a little bit of perlite just in addition to the potting soil. And what I found is that helped to aerate the soil a little bit, make it a little bit lighter and a little bit more fluffy. Now this year I will not be adding the perlite. I will just be using the potting soil just how it is, because the soil from last year has enough of that perlite in it. So real simple. I'll show you what I do. Alright, so here is my wheelbarrow and my trusty shovel. I've got a couple of pots already put in here, and you can see this soil is really good. I mean, it's dark, it's rich, it's got the perlite in it. You can see that's the white. It does have some roots still in it, and that's okay. The roots will finish decomposing and help feed up the soil. But I've already got a couple pots already in here. So when you're looking at those pots, you want to make sure, obviously, number one, that you don't have any sort of fire ants or anything like that in it, because when you start mixing it up, you can actually spread it, and then you'll have more issues with that. So I've had an issue with fire ants being in my pots before, and I usually find out the hard way. So the easiest way, I just do it, and I know this sounds dumb, but I seriously just reach in, grab a handful of soil, and usually I can, just barely disturbing the soil, I can tell if there is ants in the tub or in the pot. So this one's good to go. I'm going to simply take it and I'm going to dump it out in the wheelbarrow. And you can see this one has quite a bit of roots in it in the bottom. And that's all roots, okay? Now, if there's big clumps like that, I just take it and I break it up. I actually found a snake in one of these earlier. It's just a little rough earth snake. I'll put a picture in there. They're not going to hurt you. They actually eat insects. So I love snakes, just FYI. So but yeah, you just want to break it up, make sure there's no clumps. And then I've got another bag of the Kellogg's potting mix right here. Just gonna dump that in. Take my shovel, break up the clumps. Alright, that's all there is to it. And even though there's some roots in it, you still you get this nice fluffy soil. It's got more nutrients added into it. Alright guys, so that's really all there is to it. Now at this stage, once you get the old mix, once you've got the old potting mix and the new mix mixed together, in my case, that's what I'm doing. But in your case, you could add whatever you want to it. You could add in some cow manure compost. You could add in some mushroom compost. Basically, the idea is when you're refreshing potting mix, you want to make sure to add in some good organic matter. So potting mix is going to have a little bit in there. But what you really want to do is you want to add in some good organic matter. So things like mushroom compost, cow manure compost, any sort of compost that you make at your home would be great to add in there. You could add in some blood meal or some bone meal depending on what you're growing. That is an organic way to feed up the soil. You could also add in some worm castings, which is what I'm going to do here in just a minute when I start potting my plants up. I'm going to add in some worm castings and some organic fertilizer. So really the idea is you want to add in enough organic matter to refresh the soil. And I've actually got a recipe on my website, an article how to do it. And I'll put a link in the description below. But you want to add in that organic matter. You want to make sure that it's got the right soil structure so it's going to hold moisture. If you need the potting mix to hold more moisture, you want to put in things like either vermiculite or peat moss or coco coir. That'll help you hold on to the moisture. If you need something to help drain, you could add some perlite. That's also going to help aerate the soil so it's not so heavy. So make sure to add in some good stuff. What do you like to add into your potting mix? Leave that in the comment section below. If you have any questions, pop those in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't checked us out on social media, you can do that. You can find the links in the description below. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video. Hey, you made it to the end. Awesome. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that right below this video. And please, if you enjoyed it, share with your friends. And I hope that you will come back and continue to watch our content and also have an awesome day.